Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the latest episode of JKL Media Reviews, where we're kicking off season two, episode one. The episode is entitled Safe, and as usual, the usual gang of suspects are here, and that would include my co-host Jesse. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Lou.
Good morning, Karen.
Good morning.
And we find out a lot of interesting things in this episode, and I think for myself, this is the episode where I really feel like the crew is knitting together quite solidly.
Of the
Jesse,
Rossi.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So Jesse, let's get your quick thoughts on Safe.
So the beginning confused me, and I think I will learn how to watch this show sooner or later. But for right now, I'm still because I kept thinking it was one of our regular cast members.
Ah,
Like I was thinking is that Naomi behind that doesn't look like Naomi. Who's this? So I after I watched the episode, I went back and watched the cold opening again just to see if I missed anything. Yeah, it's interesting the way we watch TV now, especially when you're playing catch up on a series, is you don't have the used to be 4 months, now 1 year to 3 years between seasons. So we did not have a break. We just 1 week. But I could see how this was, they would have had. We've got to remind people because it's been a while since we've done. Did a great job, I think, of reintroducing the characters, reminding you what's going on. And I just thought it was a great episode.
very good. Karen,
Yeah, I was riveted to this episode.
is this further than you've gone in your previous watch?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I didn't get through the first season.
Okay.
I did get that was a different set of people
Mhm.
because it looked like they were on Mars and we hadn't seen any settings on Mars before. And they were interesting to begin with. And I'm like, okay, where are they going to slot in? Because we've already got three factions. Now we're going to have four. But I realized we don't have the series right now. We're back down to three. And the crew of the Rossi is definitely my favorite part of the show right now. And so to see the stuff happening there was great. It gave me more Firefly vibes than it ever has.
Yeah,
And
the dinner sequence. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. And the fighting and all that. And I just really enjoyed it. I think there were great advances in this one episode that was hitting the ground running on season two.
Excellent. So, well, when we were talking about last season, a couple times I mentioned that some characters are coming aboard that we have yet to meet. And we have met a new character, specifically Bobby Draper, who I think is the one that Jesse thought might have been Naomi at the beginning of the episode.
Gunner, is that
Yeah,
right?
Yes,
Okay.
Bobby,
Gunner.
yeah.
Yeah, Bobby
Okay.
Draper. I made a prediction that certain characters coming on would become one of Jesse's or Karen's favorite characters. And we've met one of those characters. And this is for Jesse. I think Jesse, you will end up loving Bobby Draper. I think
Oh,
she will become your favorite character of the show.
I think cash out your ticket because you've already won. I loved her. That is, by the way, a trope my son and I do often.
Hmm.
We will say, "Hey, do you want to bet that blank blank's going to happen because of this?" And we're like, Chris is in the next day, like, I can cash my ticket because I won that one. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about her. So I'll let you guys
Okay.
visit. But yes, you're right.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Karen, your wait is a bit longer still, but
That's fine.
it will happen this
I
season.
like plenty of people on the show
Yeah,
already.
Yeah.
it will
So,
happen at a certain point in the season as well.
okay.
Just hang in there. All right. For myself, because we have three threads here again, I actually found the UN stuff to be the most interesting. We got some big reveals, and I don't know about you, Jesse, but I perked up when Christian met with a certain person out in open space, and I'm going, "Oh my God, it's Asher."
Yes, yeah, and I'm like, oh, good. And I could see liking his character too. If he's
Yes.
going to stick around or long, that's a very interesting actor. And also, boy, I just keep wanting to get into the meat. Has she like is there more to her now than we thought? Is she actually right? Is she playing a long game? And yeah, I thought that was a great discussion.
Okay, so let's get into that discussion then. Let's talk about all the UN stuff. The show pretty well puts its cards on the table, and I'm going to torture Jesse a little bit here. I'm going to let you go, Karen.
Please do.
Why don't you talk about all the UN stuff? Aaron Wright and Mao are in cohorts and or cahoots, I guess you could say. And we see that, as Jesse just pointed out, Christian is aware of something's going on, and she is playing a long game.
Yeah. First of all, how dare you leave me out of that? He played Captain Boomerang on Arrow.
Oh,
I
did he?
like him too.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Sorry.
That's okay. I'm really
His
just
better
joking.
role is Asher by far.
Okay. And he was on Castle, an episode of Castle. So there's that. He was on Person of Interest. I knew it. Burn Notice. Ooh, that's cool. Yeah, I know that actor as well. But I think she is being incredibly smart right now. She is towing the line. And I think lulling Aaron right into a sense of I'm going along with you, but she is still offering resistance where she thinks it needs to happen, like with them not firing on the Martian ship. She talks them out of that. The Hale is the UN ship, with them not firing on. Um, and she says, no, they're not firing at you. They destroyed the base. By the way, a moon of Saturn, right? Hello? They destroyed a moon of Saturn, which that's crazy to me. But anyway, I really liked her story and a very close second, this storyline to me. I adore that actress and seeing her strategize, and she just went through like a whole gamut of emotions in this episode and almost dying right off the bat. They That was interesting. Who was behind that? It There's a lot of intrigue with this part of the story, and it's very Patriot Games or one of those types of movies. To me, it's reminiscent of that, where we're getting like a politician figuring out that something's going on and trying to infiltrate from within. And that's really cool. I loved her contacting her son's friend. I guess they were in the army together. Is that
Yep.
okay? And he's a black ops specialist. I love that she knew everything that he had been doing since then. And so you're stalking me. I love that kind of friendship. He was obviously someone that was close with the family, and seeing her continue to make moves that are smart. I really enjoyed that. She is doing her best to protect herself. Just a really great storyline. Mal and Aaron are continuing to really be slimy and making me mad at them. At one point, my husband and I paused it in order to read all the stuff that was on the screen in back of Christina. She not only had the stuff that's going on there, but she had a little snippet about the Eros incident on there as well. So you can see she's ruminating on everything. I feel like she's putting puzzle pieces together here, and I think that's gonna be a really great storyline to see.
Cool. Jesse.
Yeah, did I was a little shocked at the assassination attempt and went, wow, okay, she's handling this a little better than I might. But then she is cold. She is made of steel. Her internal fortitude is amazing. And when you realize that Enright is involved with this virus or whatever, biomatter, and it is now, is this more, you get the feeling it's more than a weapon. this is some kind of, let's, I'm going to use the Steve Rogers super soldier serum. It kills some people, but others it makes amazing. So that's right now in my mind what they think it is. And, that it can, and I go back to the George R. R. Martin Wild Cards universe, that the virus kills some people, but it also gives some of them superpowers and they become aces. So he's involved with that. And I she knows he's involved with something. I don't know yet if she knows everything, but she knows enough that she needs to be fighting against them. So at this point, in my mind canon, yes, she is fighting for Earth, but she is also fighting for humanity as a whole by fighting against this. And sometimes with the Belters and Mars, that she is, yes, Earth is number one, but she's got other things going on to worry in the long run about Mars and the Belters and everyone else. So fascinating. The guy, Asher, is who I'm going to call him, just get used to it this whole season, is someone who I need someone on my side. And at first, he has no interest in her. But when she gives him the, hey, blank's about to go down, and I need someone to help. And him going, okay, like, all right, this is a nice little story. I'm fascinated that she is playing two different games. I may end up liking her more than I do right now. Right now, I love the character and watching her act, but I'm not pulling for her.
That was going to be
So
a question I was going to
yeah,
ask.
but now then all of a sudden I may be pulling for her. Maybe I've got her in the wrong place. So just it is one of the things that I've learned to like this show about so much for is usually there's usually two or three storylines going on in each episode.
Mhm.
And there are ones you like and ones you're like, okay, we just got to get through this. And it keeps rotating.
Yeah.
Which one I'm most intrigued with. And I'm like Karen a little bit, where this was my top storyline, or maybe with it on the ship, the Rossi, maybe that was my favorite. So it's very cool about this.
Good.
Yeah, I feel
Good.
like we don't have to pick, right?
No, we
Hmm.
don't, but just it like when you can, like Game of Thrones, when it was going through all these different places, and you go, okay, can we just get with one good storyline? These are all good storylines.
So, can I ask you a question, Lou?
Do the
Absolutely.
Cowboys suck or
Or
what?
at least
I'm sorry.
that's okay. I enjoy that. And you don't have to answer this. I'm
Okay.
just gonna put it out there. I feel like Aaron Wright is being played a little bit by Mal.
Why do you
I
think that?
don't think I don't think he knows exactly what he's pulling for there
Mm.
because he said Mal said to him, if you want to use this as a weapon, you're going to have to blah blah blah. And I think Aaron Wright is concentrating on that, but I think that the proto-molecule is more than that. So I just want to put
Interesting.
that out there
Okay.
that maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I feel like they stressed that.
Okay. We'll have to keep that in mind, see how that plays out.
Okay.
Okay.
I
Very
might get
good.
an answer at some point.
You will get an answer at some point.
Oh, awesome.
Okay.
Great.
All right. Where do we want to go next? Mars or Auntie?
Let's do Mars first.
Okay. So we start the episode with the cold open, and we have Gunnery Sergeant Bobby Draper and her squad. They're doing a training mission, though at first we're not aware of that until the conclusion of the fighting, and then we realize that they've been doing a training mission, and they're pretty happy with the results. And we also get to see that Bobby Draper is very pro Mars, very anti-Earth, and she's got this dream that's been shattered of Mars being terraformed. And she does this overlay of this valley that she's looking at, where it has now in the future would have a lake and everything. So she's pretty pissed at what's happened elsewhere that's caused Mars to redivert their strategy, and they're amping up their military readiness because they're concerned about the things that are happening out in the belt. And then they get shipped out, and we get to see some interesting personal relationships. Give me a little bit of Aliens vibe with the Marines heading out to the planet. So, Jesse, why don't you talk about everything Bobby?
Great new character, as I've already said. She is the right subordinate that we love to see. In real life, if I was a leader, I'd hate this kind of character. Though, as I say that out loud, one of my mantras is stolen from Aaron Sorkin. If you're dumb, you surround yourself with smart people. If you're smart, you surround yourself with smart people who disagree with you. She's really good at what she does. It is a little off-putting. We will take the earthers and grind them into dust or whatever the Marine called before.
Hmm.
She was ready for a fight and then pissed when they didn't get one.
Yep.
There is, I think it's an often told, but right, it's like that magic sword you draw, it has to draw blood before you can put it back in. And then if you end up not, you have to cut yourself to feed it that blood. She was a gun primed and ready to fire, and then all of a sudden, oh, I can't do this. And once again, we talk a lot about a villain is the hero in their own story. I'm not calling her the villain. What I am saying, though, is this is, she has a point. We want to be able to live and breathe without being in a dome or a spaceship. And by having this not not ever the ability to do that because we're having to face it on war. If we didn't spend millions slash billions on defense, we could feed everyone in the nation and provide free healthcare. And I'm not saying you don't, I'm not politically, I'm saying I absolutely understand why we have to have a safe and all that. I'm just saying, though, the discussion of how you allocate your resources is a valid one. So she's smart, she cares, she's a badass. Yeah, I really was impressed with her. And she would fit in the Rossi too. Not that I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon, but I do get the feeling like, yeah, she's more like them than the others a lot.
Okay. Karen.
Yeah, although I'm pretty sure she doesn't have much love for the Belters either.
Oh no.
I think she's all about Mars, where Christian is all about Earth. She is definitely the polar opposite of that, being all about Mars. I liked how her cohorts there were urging her to get in bed with Sutton because Sutton has a crush on her. And there are some things I just won't do. And I feel, hey, Sutton's okay looking. I'd be all right with that. But I do appreciate her relationship with those around her. She is more than cordial towards them, but I feel like she does have a wall that she puts up around her where she feels more dedicated than everyone else. That's the vibe I get from her. I enjoyed their interplays. I liked the conversation she had with Sutton. I really loved that moment where she was alone on the bluff overlooking that Martian city and seeing like a green belt and a river and all that going
Hmm.
through.
Yep.
And now we know a lot about, oh, it was in her visor, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So she was really seeing it. We're learning a lot about what happened between Mars and Earth, where we didn't have all that information before, where they've put off terraforming for 100 years. So they've been there for more than 100 years, and they've had to delay that. And that really does kind of show that whole mindset, and I know it's coming from a belter at this point with Joe saying it, but you're taking breathing clean air for granted. You're taking walking on grass for granted. Why do you hate us so much? You get all the good stuff and we get nothing. And it really does show how Earth isn't the good guy in these episodes, at least. They are scheming, they're trying to stay on top of things and trying to stay in a place where the Belters and Martians can't be self-sufficient. They want them to be beholden to Earth, and I'm assuming it's so they can take advantage of whatever they need. That maybe a feeling I get is they sent people to Mars to colonize, not just to get off the planet and try to make a better place for themselves, but to also get the resources. And maybe Martians didn't want to do that. They just wanted to live their lives because we see that with the Belters. So it's like they've had to send out these people to the belt in order to make up for that. I don't know, but and we know the Belters and all that, they're getting water for Earth, right? They're helping to make Earth better, whereas they're not getting any of that. So it's not just this group of Martians being sent to investigate this station. It tells us a lot about the interplay between the three factions. And I enjoy that. Again, it's that show not tell thing. I also love that you said safe, Jesse, because that's the title of this episode. And it's in all three stories. 1,000%. The word safe applies to all three stories.
Yeah.
And I love that. Literally in the case of the Rossi, where they actually have a safe on board.
Yep.
And then Christian wanting to stay safe, wanting to keep the Earth safe, and Bobby doing the same for Mars, wanting the Earth to be safe, saving people. And it's fantastic. Like I said before, I love that we're getting a lot of information that's implied. And we're meant to take that implication and run with it. And it makes for a really smart TV show. So yeah, I loved them. There's also Hillman. They were speculating on how much money Hillman, their family, had. And there is a real Hillman Foundation that has set up a cancer center and they have endowments to colleges and things like that. And I thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, I enjoyed that story. Very cool. I like Bobby. I like everyone. I loved the scene where she's doing arm wrestling with the robot. And like you said, it is very alien vibes.
Yeah, for sure.
I also thought a little bit of the Battlestar Galactica reboot with Katie Sackhoff and
Yeah.
Starbuck,
Yeah.
you know, with her cigar and the arm wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so interesting stuff going on there for sure with the Martian portion of the episode. The fact that I think they pulled a pretty good fake out when the Martian ship shot the moon base. We thought they were aiming for the Earth ship, but they weren't. So
Is that meant to mirror the beginning when we thought they were in a battle and they really weren't?
yeah, I never really thought of it that way.
It's a fake out the other direction, right?
Yeah, yes, yes, for sure. And then the utter disappointment that Bobby had, that the fact that they didn't get to go into battle, so to speak, I thought that was pretty good. And the tension between her and her commander, I don't know, it's creepy if you ask me, but
Oh, a little bit, but still.
it's actually it's quite funny knowing the Bobby character that she has to put up with that.
He was pretty professional with her,
Oh,
though.
absolutely. But the under and it's funny because like you said, he is professional throughout the episode, but it's because of something that one of her teammates said that sets up that tension that otherwise you probably wouldn't even have picked up on. So I thought,
But once
yeah,
you're like, oh, he's calling her back
he keeps
to
wanting
talk to her
yeah, he wants to
in
talk to her
private.
again and again. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And we often talk about this at when I'm discussing with other leaders that, sometimes your high performing employees, teammates have baggage, or there is drama. It isn't without, and you hope that their baggage or their popular traits are outweighed by their performance, and most times they are. And so I think in his case, yeah, she's a pain in my butt, but I also look at no, but it on the overhand, she's better, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
for sure.
I just looked this up. Phoebe is the moon that they destroy that has the research
Right.
station on it.
Yeah.
This actually preceded the actual destruction of Phoebe in real life. It the orbit decayed and it fell into Saturn. So that's
Interesting.
interesting, I think.
When did that happen?
I don't know.
Okay. Good.
Recently,
Okay, cool. I wasn't aware of that. So that's cool. So that leaves us with the Rossi scenes, and the crew is really bonding, in quotation marks, you could say. And we have some care baggage from the first season between Amos and Miller, and that gets played out here. And we get a little more insights into Miller this episode, through Naomi's perspective. And I think it works out well because you could, maybe it's a cliche, but women are more better at reading people's emotions and things like that. So she's got a pretty good read on Miller. And I think that they come to a mutual understanding between the two of them when he's talking about Julie. And I think that conversation was tragic in a way. Like it's talking about your unrequited love stories. That was a beautiful scene, and I thought it was really well played. And then the scene between Naomi and Holden when they turn off the radios and they're touching helmets, I thought that was also really well done. And then, of course, when they get back on the ship, that was also really well done. Uh, and then finally we
bow
get
chicka wow wow.
yeah, then we finally get the dinner scene with us making the lasagna. So Jesse, go anywhere you want with the stuff on the Rossi.
I agree. The scene where they turn off the radios and do the helmet to helmet
Yeah.
was really well done. I have really liked how Holden, and I'm keep saying this, but he's come into his own as a leader and realized that, wow, I people are counting on me and how much he's caring about it. And I'm not sure. First off, as a shipper, I'm really happy these two got together, though I was not shipping them. And
Hmm.
I don't know if we needed a romance in this, but it certainly was cool. Though it feels a little Zoe and Captain Reynolds fooling around. No, what happened to Walsh? So I like that. And I did like she had enough sense to turn off the cameras, right? Like she's
Yeah.
just going for it, right? Thought very well done. The scene from outer space, seeing them being intimate, shall we say, was really
Hmm.
well done. Amos and Joe, I thought was especially well written. That I know it it would have been easy to go them just never putting it aside. And it does fit that Joe is someone who is practical, but I like the idea that they're making lasagna even though they don't have cheese. And then they
Or
start
meat,
telling, yeah,
or yeah,
yeah, or really pasta, but
or tomatoes, or
yeah,
yeah.
like yeah, but the the story of the cheese and everyone that when it was stolen and the idea where Amos moves his gloves and basically says, join us. And so you've got these five sitting together. You're like, okay, they're slowly becoming a team. They're becoming bonding. Will there be problems in the future? Absolutely. But at least now there is because they have a discussion. He wasn't good enough friend to wait for you. He was making the right decision. He shouldn't have waited for me. I just liked everything about that. This is, you could do a show, we called it Firefly, of just the crew having different adventures because they are such complex, good characters. And this is, we get it's almost, and we're going to throw in this. We're going to throw in this.
Hmm.
Because when you look at us, we now have the Belters, Mars, and the Rossi. No,
Right.
because we're not talking about so it's got the Rossi, the UN, Earth, and we've got Mars. And those are all three intriguing storylines and wondering how they're going to move together. Really good stuff. It this is partly a cliche and joking, but it would have been very easy to let when the Prime rolls to just let it go to the next episode.
Yep. Yep, for sure. Karen.
Okay. Can I ask you to cut out the Phoebe thing? Because it's destroyed later in the books, not in real life. It's
Oh.
still around.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay. No worries.
Okay, so the Rossi storyline. I turned to Sean and I said, I still don't like Amos. He was really detached and like running on autopilot here. I was not shipping Naomi and Holden either, but I'm okay with it. I think that it didn't shock me. Like it wasn't something that I thought wouldn't happen in real life. When she turned off their comms and they were in their helmets and they put their helmets close together, I was like, that's pretty cool. Pretty intimate. And then when they get into the bay and they're taking each other's suits off, I was like, okay, they're gonna go there. And one of the things I love is when a trope turns on its head, and it's usually the guy that pushes the girl up against the wall and kisses them back. I love that it was Naomi that took charge here. Again, smart enough, like Jesse said, smart enough to turn off the cameras, just super into it. And it's almost like they were fighting for control here, and it almost mirrors their positions in the hierarchy of the ship, where they're both in control of the ship.
Hmm.
Because Naomi is his counterpart, does what needs to get done when Holden hesitates. And as I mentioned in the last episode, Holden needs to learn how to make a fist more. And I think right now Naomi is that for him. And that may continue. I don't know. I love their interplay. They have a great relationship. I hope it continues and doesn't cause more friction. But I'm trying not to look at Luke because I don't want to get clues for anything.
You don't like my poker face?
I don't know whether you have a poker face or
Oh,
not.
okay.
That's the whole point.
Okay.
Because you and I used to smile when Jesse
Yeah.
said something about Farscape. But
Yep.
I really do enjoy this story. Oh, also about the lasagna, that pan that he used, this is very cool. It has plates that go in between as well. It's not just a square pan. And that is made for brownies
Yes.
originally because it gives every piece, all four sides being a corner
Yeah, the
piece, like
edge,
an
the
edge
brownie
piece.
edge. Yes.
Right, which everyone loves. And that's amazing because that's the part I like on lasagna too. I thought that was cool that they used that. I'm off topic here, but I think that pan is ingenious,
Hmm.
especially for lasagna and brownies. I need to get one of those, by the way. We do make lasagna every so often. It's more difficult to make lasagna.
I do it with the zucchini
Yummy.
instead
I've
of
had
yeah,
that kind, like
the
veggie.
keto version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I still, Amos is getting on my nerves. I know you say I'm gonna like him right
Put
now. I
Miller in
just,
his spot though, didn't he?
yeah, but Miller has a point,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I understand Amos's point of view, but I feel like there's other ways that he could have gone about it. Why did he kill him? Why didn't he just shoot him somewhere else? shoot him in the leg, shoot him. He was point blank on him. He could have aimed, right? That's just my point of view. That would have stopped him. But I get it. He's security. He's got an itchy trigger finger too. But
He's very pragmatic, black and white.
exactly. And Joe is too, to a point, and he's, you killed my friend.
Joe, I think Joe's more just disillusioned,
Okay, there you go.
which is why he gloms onto Julie so strongly.
Yeah, it's something that he can hope about.
Yeah.
And now his, not only was Julie dead, but now his friend is dead too, Semi. And he's just going to become more and more cynical and more bitter. And I get why he wanted to go after Amos. And I think it's unfair that Amos had him come for him. He knows that Joe isn't a fighter. He has different physiology even from Amos. Amos is strong and can fight. And Amos knows that Joe is a weakie, right? Yeah, and he has cancer.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It seemed like a sucker move that he made on him in the kitchen. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I didn't think it was fair. And I was like at the table, I'm like, Joe, just kick him out of his chair. He doesn't deserve to be there. You go sit there.
Oh,
Sorry.
that's good.
I'm just not into Amos at all.
All right.
But I think it was a nice gesture that Amos takes his gloves and puts them aside. I get that. I loved the way that they brought Joe back in by talking about the cheese and how they confiscated an underground cheese ring. And it's funny because in our real history, cheese was a commodity that we had way too much of at one point. And so that's where it comes from, like what is the saying about giving out government cheese? Thank you.
Yeah, government cheese, yeah.
Yeah. So it's funny that it was a rare commodity in the series actually disrupted an underground cheese ring. It was a funny little story.
Yeah.
But I'm loving what's happening there on the ship. And I thought, first of all, Sean and I were watching it and I'm like, oh, they're going there. And then I said, is it their first time? And he said, I think so. I'm assuming it was their first time. Yeah.
I lost where who's
Holden and Naomi.
Yes,
it was their first time.
It was their first time, yes.
Okay. So that's cool that we get to see that from the beginning. And I also, I thought it was interesting to see that Holden is also having these kind of hallucinations as well, because we got that from Holden also, with him getting the proto-molecule and ending up like Julie. I thought that was cool. And then not him, but Joe telling Naomi that he never met Julie after Naomi saying, how long were you together? Yeah, it was sad. And that story really, we knew it already, but it reinforces that feeling of just hopelessness that he has. So many things happened on the Rossi this episode, and I was really left with many feelings after I watched it.
Awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of great character work in all the Rossi scenes, and it all works together seamlessly. Like Holden talking to Naomi about Julie, creates empathy for Naomi, more empathy for Naomi with whole Miller, because she'd already glommed onto it pretty quickly that he had some sort of relationship with Julie. And then when Amos and Miller have their confrontation, she rushes to his defense and tells Amos to back off, because I think in part because she has that empathy for him. And then to bury the hatchet, they position the table so that Amos is sitting at the end there, and he makes a gesture that invites Miller into the sort of like the Rossi family. And so it's all unspoken stuff that just emotionally conveys that there's the bonds between all the characters are becoming tighter. And
I love that we see how insightful Joe is too, where he says, so you never had a relationship with him. He's more like your son.
Yeah. exactly. Yeah, like he's a cop. He reads people pretty good. So, and who knows, maybe underneath it all, he actually can understand Amos's position, but he felt he owed it to his friend to make some sort of gesture
Yeah,
on his behalf. So, really, really layered, complicated character stuff, which is really good. Um,
absolutely.
the other thing, there's a couple of informational things that we should remember going forward, is they viewed the logs and they saw the experiments, and they, as Jesse said, they showed that it was had different effects on people, and they also made an allusion to the fact that it's not of terrestrial origin, so that's important as well. And what was the other thing I was gonna? Oh, they also obviously opened the safe and they discovered more proto-molecule, and they decided to put it into a torpedo and hide it, or yeah, they hid it in a asteroid belt again.
A belt.
Yeah, behind a rock somewhere.
And
Yeah.
Kaz playing with the little joysticky thing, which is pretty
Yeah, it was
cool.
cool.
it, yeah, and I think Naomi was smart to, we don't, you don't give away an asset.
Right.
We don't know what or wow. We need to make it safe. Now, this also could come back and bite them if someone else finds it. But I think they've done as a good a job they can of trying to keep it where no one is going to find it. But yeah, I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, I was ambivalent about that decision. They destroyed the other ship because of what they saw. So I was,
Yeah,
really, you're going to keep this stuff after you just saw what happened, and knowing what it can do, and knowing that all these players are out there that want to get it, you're just going
yeah,
to keep it? Like, is this a story plot convenience that there's some proto molecules still floating around? And that's from a first time viewer too, and even on a second viewing, I'm still,
Your mind is boggled, yeah. At least they didn't keep it on the ship.
yes, for sure.
That would have been a big mistake.
Yeah, yeah.
So now the Rossi crew knows. We know that Mao and Aaron know. Do we know how far Christian knows? I don't think she knows anything about the proto-molecule, really. She knows that there was a quarantine on Eros, but how much does she know about all this?
It's a good question.
Okay. We don't know what she knows yet. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
and the other, right? They are worried. They don't want anyone to see the what they've done. So
Right.
that's why they destroyed this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, no, the Martians destroyed this because they didn't want Earth to get their hands on whatever was there.
Okay.
Mm,
Okay.
okay.
Okay. Yeah. No, you're right. I was getting the
Yeah.
two confused. Yeah,
Because
So
that's
yeah.
Mars doesn't know for sure.
yeah,
Okay.
they don't know. They just know. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So far, the only people that know about it are obviously the people that have created it, or are trying to harvest it, and the crew of the Rossi.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Mal and Aaron, right? I'm assuming they're the only two in the UN that know,
Right.
at least what we know of.
Yeah.
And everybody on the Rossi, because
Yes.
even the people that they saved from Eros know
Yeah.
that some, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do
Okay.
we know how many people are on the ship that they've saved?
No,
Okay.
it's non-specific, and
Okay.
it looked like there was half a dozen, so it's not a lot, but that's why there's a discussion between Kaz and one of the survivors about we should go back and try to save the others.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know,
I
And
feel
you've
like
done more, right?
yeah,
Alex could have said there, we tried.
Mhm.
Some people were just, they didn't want to go
yeah,
because they did try to get those other people to come with them.
yeah,
He really could have emphasized that, but
yeah. But what could he really say? Because it'd be enough.
it
So
won't.
yeah.
No.
So we're left with that is the end of the episode, and there's that closing scene between Sutton and Draper again, talking about why the Nathan Hale, or why the Martian ship was, what was the Martian ship called? There's so many ships. It's hard to keep track. Sirocco. Yeah, the Sirocco didn't fire on the Nathan Hale and instead destroyed the base. And is he stated that their mission was to avoid a war with Earth, and she says that's a backwards way of thinking, and just really laying on her contempt for Earth and how eager she is to actually go into battle. So that's where we are. Pretty excellent start to the second season, if I don't say so myself.
Yeah.
Uh,
And like you said, all the character work was amazing. Even people that weren't the focus of the
Mhm.
storyline, I think did a great job. That other general on the council
Yes.
that we've
Yep.
seen
A
several,
little
he
bit
was
differently now.
a little bit,
Yeah.
yeah.
but I already knew that he had a different point of view.
Yeah.
Aaron Wright is just becoming scummier and scummier.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
like that the general called Christian out on her bullshit about knowing that in the
Yeah,
academy. He says, that's
yeah.
funny. He
He
never went
was
to the
never in the
academy.
academy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I think he understands that Christian's going against Aaron Wright. So he's
Yes.
getting the feeling that maybe Christian's on the right side.
Yeah, I think so too. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was funny.
Yeah. I I don't know where his I don't know where he stands right now. I don't think he's in the loop to the degree of music that
Oh no,
Christian
I
or
don't think
the
he's in the
Aaron
loop at
Wright is.
all.
Like
Yeah.
Christian, she's got the path all mapped out about where she's expecting Aaron Wright and is leading her down to her downfall. But she,
Mm.
that's why she hires Asher because she needs more information to take the proper strategy
Asher.
to get around
Kotiar.
Kotiar. Yep.
His name's
Me and Jess
Kotiar.
are going to call him Asher because
Okay.
if you've seen Spartacus and Asher as his own series, he's just owns that role.
Okay. I'm gonna call him Kotiar. I'm
Okay.
not gonna call him Boomerang.
All right. Very good. All right.
Yeah, this was a fantastic episode. Are we gonna rate it?
We could do that. I'll have to think.
I'm gonna give it 9 robot arms.
Okay. Jesse?
I'm going to give it 9 magical coffee machines.
Okay.
Awesome.
I want to see that cat. That great. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I'll give it 9 lasagnas.
Oh,
Great.
nice.
I love
Good.
it.
All right. There you go,
Mhm.
folks. That's our review for the first episode of season 2. Can't wait to get to the next episode. Getting to that point where the anticipation or the desire level is increasing to jump to the next episode is getting higher and higher. We're in for some really good stuff this season, and I'm looking forward to hearing Jesse and Karen's reactions to it all. But until then, we are going to sign off. Jesse, where can people find you?
So you can find me at Jesse Jackson DFW on Twitter and X, Blue Sky, all that. Coming up later this week is the debut episode of the Small Council Matters, where me and a few friends will be discussing Night of the Seven Kingdoms, I think is the name of the new Game of Thrones spinoff. So check that out. It's going to be a lot of fun. What's nice is if you have got not done House of the Dragon or not Game of Thrones, this is a smaller mini series. It's a kind of standalone series that HBO is covering. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So hope you check us out on that. Small Council Matters.
All righty. Karen.
So, I am at Alveria on social media, Aleveria, and my blog is allystuff.com.
Very good. And you can find all of us at the JKL Media Pop Culture Reviews, where we are doing our obviously review of The Expanse. And we've just finished season 1 of Pluribus. And we did a wrap-up episode, which was a lot of fun as we had that special guest from another podcast. And I can never remember his name. I'm sorry, Jesse.
Daniel.
Daniel from
And
Deck the Hallmark.
Deck the Hallmark. And on my own personal YouTube channel, Lou's Reviews, you can find my writer and Stephen King podcast interviews there, and the entire Babylon 5 series plus the animated movie. And on Twitter and X, can be found at Lou W. Sitzma, Sytsma. And until next
And
time,
you can email us at jklmediareviews@gmail.com. Sorry, I missed that
Karen,
before.
no problem. Until next time, take care, everybody, and can't wait till the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
And scene.
The proceeding has been a JKL Media production.